Hello and welcome. In this video, I will demonstrate integration of OpenSpecimen with OpenClinica. OpenSpecimen is a leading biobanking software responsible for management of biospecimens. OpenClinica is an open source software for management of clinical data. In this video, I will demonstrate how to configure OpenClinica studies in OpenSpecimen, load OpenClinica CRF's metadata and its data records into OpenSpecimen database. Finally, I will end my presentation by creating an integrated query involving OpenClinica CRF fields and OpenSpecimen domain fields to present a unified picture to the end users or researchers. Obviously, the next question would be, why would anyone like to integrate OpenClinica and OpenSpecimen? Many a times, researchers are interested to find specimens by querying on certain clinical data parameters. In order to do so, OpenSpecimen database needs to be equipped with the clinical data. This clinical data can be imported into OpenSpecimen in a variety of ways. One brute force approach would be to manually redo the data entry at the OpenSpecimen side. Apart from being very laborious and error-prone approach, this approach means the data entry at the OpenSpecimen side will always be lagging behind the data entry at the OpenClinica side. That is, the OpenSpecimen database will always be out of sync with respect to the OpenClinica database, and therefore it will not always give you the true picture. Therefore, what is needed is an integration mechanism where the data is exchanged automatically between OpenClinica and OpenSpecimen. This is where the OpenSpecimen OpenClinica integration plugin comes into picture. The first step in integration involves users configuring OpenClinica study in OpenSpecimen. Let's see the things in action now. I have a sample collection protocol here with all the details pre-created or predefined. You see a visits calendar on the left side, and on the right side you see the list of anticipated specimens to be collected or drawn from the patient during every visit. OpenClinica study configuration is created by clicking on the settings tab and then choosing OpenClinica study configuration. For this demo purpose, I have pre-filled a OpenClinica study configuration form. This form has 4 sections: the basic details of the study, the sites mapping, and the events mapping. Let's go through each one of this section one at a time. The name. This is the study name that you associate in OpenSpecimen. This name is used to identify the OpenClinica study. Server. This specifies how the data is retrieved. This specifies the mechanism with respect to how the data is retrieved from OpenClinica and imported into OpenSpecimen. Dataset. This is the name of the dataset that you have created in OpenClinica server. Notification recipients. This is the list of email IDs that will be notified upon completion of import or any activity related to OpenClinica study. Further, you specify the mapping of OpenClinica study sites to corresponding collection protocol sites. In the same way, you also specify the mapping of OpenClinica events to corresponding OpenSpecimen visits or events. OpenClinica OIDs are used to map the study sites and events to corresponding OpenSpecimen sites and events. This is the basic configuration that is required to get started with OpenSpecimen OpenClinica integration. The next step is to load the CRF metadata and data records into OpenSpecimen. Let me demonstrate that this particular collection protocol has no records or no participants or patients to start with. Let me now import a sample dataset XML that was created by OpenClinica into OpenSpecimen. We go to the study configuration page. From the More option, we choose an import option, and the user is asked to specify the dataset XML to be imported into OpenSpecimen. This is the same dataset XML that the OpenClinica has created. Let me choose the XML. So this is the zip file containing the dataset XML that was created by OpenClinica. OpenClinica. This XML conforms to ODM 1.3 format along with OpenClinica extensions. Let me choose this zip file and submit it. So a background job is created to parse the dataset XML. Upon parsing of this dataset XML, OpenSpecimen creates the corresponding CRFs in OpenSpecimen data. It also creates or updates existing subjects in OpenSpecimen, also creates visits and their corresponding CRF records. Let's see what's the progress of the import job. So the import job has completed, and during the process it has created 10 CRFs and imported data related to 208 subjects, also 208 visits. So it has created 1360 CRF records. Okay, now let's go to the participants list view and see whether the participants are appearing now. So what we will do is we will refresh this page. Okay, so we refresh this page and we see that the participants are created here. Okay, you can see here. So the import log showed 208 subjects were created, and you see the same number of participants appearing in the collection protocol participants list view. Let me uh, let me click on any one of these participant and see the CRF data. So here we have the CRF data that was imported from OpenClinica into OpenSpecimen. So this serum collected. So you can see here the green dots. The green dots specify the records that were imported from OpenClinica. All right. So this is how simple the process is of integrating OpenSpecimen with OpenClinica. That was about loading CRF's metadata and data records into OpenSpecimen. Once that is done, users can start building integrated queries. Integrated queries involving OpenClinica CRF fields and OpenSpecimen domain fields. Let's see and try to build. Let's try to build a integrated query now. Okay, so I go to the queries list view, select a new query. I will also select the collection protocol here. Then I will select few OpenSpecimen domain fields here, like the registration site, so that I limit my results to sites that I am interested in, and also specify the things like I am interested in serum samples here, and they should be available. Okay, so these are OpenSpecimen domain fields. Now let me add some filter conditions on OpenClinica CRF fields. Okay, so like say for example follow-up. So what I would like to do here is it should be followed up. Okay, then I would like to specify few conditions on the symptoms like this. Symptoms should be one of completely recovered or improved. Okay, so these are what these are conditions on OpenClinica fields. Okay, these are conditions on OpenClinica fields. Let me add a few more conditions, like the solid culture result is negative. Okay, the liquid culture result is also negative. Similarly, I would like to specify the blood culture result also as negative, and the culture result as overall is negative. Okay, so let me do this all OR conditions and add a bracket here. Okay, so let me see the count of patients first. let me click on this count and get a count of patients. Okay, so I created an integrated query with conditions on open specimen fields and conditions on OpenClinica CRF fields, and I see that there are 266 participants with 3,000 odd specimens available. So let me go and see the details of these participants by clicking on view records. Okay, so the query is running in the background and the data is being fetched by the browser. Okay, so once I get so this is the detail, these are the details of the participants along with the specimen details. Now what I will do is I will select a few. So let me first unselect all the things here. Okay, let me unselect all the things and select a few open specimen domain fields here, like say for example the PPID, the registration date, and then few visit fields here. Okay, so let me select this. Okay, so let me select the lamb blood QC fields like this. Okay, and select some specimen fields like specimen label and type, and let's see. So the query is running in the background, the browser is fetching the data, and you see the data here. So the PPID, registration date, these are the open specimen domain fields, whereas lamb blood QC, ID, serum collected, date of collection, these are all OpenClinica CRF fields, and so you can see you can put conditions on both OpenClinica as well as OpenSpecimen fields and have both the fields in the result view. So this way researchers can construct an integrated query and get a very good picture about what kind of clinical data they have and the corresponding specimens that are collected. If you have any questions, please email us at contact@openspecimen.org. I hope this video has helped you to understand how the integration between OpenSpecimen and OpenClinica is achieved. Thanks a lot.